You can see this is February the 10th, 2016. It went down to 290 points. Imagine that if you go back to the previous slide, you can see, yes, you can see that the BDI in the previous slide, if you can go back, Anna, can you go backwards, please? It went, previous slide? Yes, it went to 11,793 points. An amazing thing, and that was in 2008, just before Posidonia on the 20th of May. During Posidonia, I was very much concerned, and I visited specifically stands of international ship brokers, who they are trying to push, really push, you know, not just lure the people to go and build ships and do that. And that was a big scam. So I decided to put this on canvas and avoid being involved, because in my past life, after the most important thing is selling, you know, ships is above, just below human life is the most expensive item. So I know the necessities and know the damages inflicted when you get wrong decisions. There are cheap decisions and expensive decisions. Cheap decision is to change just the mics you have in your cupboard, but an expensive decision is to build a ship. When to build the ship, how to build the ship, and what ship to build. So that created a bubble, and half a year later, on the 5th of December, the index has dropped 94%, reaching 663 points. You know, that was a great humiliation. It recovered a bit in February 2009 at 1,360 points. This, as you can see, low rates moved dangerously close to the combined operating cost of vessels, fuel, and cruise. By the end of 2008, shipping has been already increased by reduced speed to save fuel consumption, but lack of credit meant that the reduction of letters of credit historically required to load of cargoes for departure at ports. Debt load of future ship construction was also a problem for shipping companies, with several major bankruptcies and implications for shipyards. This, combined with the collapsing price of raw commodities, created the perfect storm for the world's marine commerce. During 2009, the index recovered as high as 4,661 points, but then bottomed out at 1,043 in February 2011, after continued deliveries of new ships and floating in Australia. Though rebounding in 2000 on October, by the 3rd of February 2012, the index made a new multi-decade low of 647. 647, that was the slogan in the square mile, on a continued line of dry bulk carriers and decreases in order of iron ore and coal. On the 10th of February, as we said earlier on, the index bottomed down at 290 points. By November 15, 2016, it rebounded to over 1,000, sending the entire shipping industry to massive gains. Some companies reached 2,000 centum in share prices gains in as little as 5 days. Today, and after falling below the 700 points, last month it recovered yesterday to 779. Well, I'm an optimist man. Today it came back above 1,000. It broke the threshold of 1,000 points to 1,033 points. That's something to think of. Yet, we need to see the end of December 2013, when the index was at 2,220 points. This was the level that would bring some returns. Below this level, it is a lost case. Right. Now, the wets, basically two of the indexes, the BDTI, the Baltic Dirty Tanker Index, and the Baltic Clean Tanker Index, are struggling to go over and above the 1,000 point mark. A very complicated future lies ahead, despite that the wets, simply the tanker market, is more simple than dry, as you have crude and products. If you compare the two sectors, and following a very interesting presentation by Dr. Nikos Tsakos the other day at the IMIF, he simplified the issue that the tanker industry is a more simple industry than the dry markets. Very, very simple. You've got now, the shale, oil, pipelines, LNG, you name it. And above all, you have the dries and wets and an environment and regulations that causes concern and raises eyebrows. KPIs, the key performance indicators, are of major importance in our industry, and we adhere to have them improved. The ISO 19030 is another important issue. These and other issues complement the ISM and the ISPS codes, as well as the current STCWs. Now, do add that shipping in its entirety has more sectors which the 90% of the analysts avoid to say or refer to. They cannot even pronounce them. These are, for example, colonial shipping. Nobody bothers to speak about colonial shipping. Or what is transformed to the shipping of the G7, the G8, rich and industrial nations, including, of course, Russian tonnage and the Chinese following, adding more turmoil. Liner shipping, another major sector. Listed and not listed companies, another major issue given a sort of protectionism, favoring the listed companies. Imagine if a not listed owner's vessel runs aground and there's a pollution. It goes behind the bars, the master, everybody. But if you arrest and you stop a vessel that is listed in any major stock exchange, everything will go down the stairs. And that's very, very unfair. It's as if you've done a crime and you lodge a deposit and you're scot-free. No, that's nonsense. This is not shipping. And this is where the crash comes, because I come from, like most of you here, we come from the two maritime nations. The island nation, which is Great Britain, and the islands nation, which is Greece. And both of us who are interwoven and who have created Britannia rule the waves and Greece rule the waves. And we cannot stand this situation of new kids in the block and new things coming up distorting our industry. Tradition in both countries is second to none, with all due respect to other nations in Europe. Our traditional shipping ethics we have, we cannot be found nowhere. You don't have, with all due respect, Berlin Greeks, you have London Greeks, which is a very important issue. And among everything else, because of shipping, 40,000 students study in British universities from Scotland down to Brighton, from Wales up in Northern Ireland. You know, it's amazing, our cooperation. This cooperation has never existed, and this is what, as you very well possibly heard, and you can read in our site, during the Hellenic Engineer Society of Great Britain, is what Doug Barrow, which all you know, Doug Barrow, delivered a long but very, very important speech about triggering this special relationship that there's nothing like the UK-American relationship, with all due respect, is the Greek-British relationship. We have an amazing cooperation together. You understood the Greeks and the Greeks understood the Brits, and we created the amazing Liberty replacement, the SD-14 vessels, which was one of the greatest successes of the cooperation of two countries in the shipbuilding industry. And this is important.